The stagecoach creaked to a slow halt at the edge of the dusty western town, its wheels groaning as if they, too, understood the weight of the moment unfolding beneath the open sky, and as the passengers stepped down one by one, silence settled like a held breath when Elijah Carter finally saw the woman standing before him, not the woman whose carefully folded letters he had memorized by heart, not the face he had imagined during lonely nights on the range, but a stranger with storm-gray eyes and a blue pioneer dress faded by travel and hardship, and she stood there facing him with the same uncertainty reflected in her gaze, a thin envelope clutched tightly in her gloved hand as though it were the only thing keeping her steady, while a small but unmistakable distance remained between them, wide enough to carry disappointment, confusion, and a truth neither had expected. Elijah removed his hat slowly, the sun catching the worn lines of his face, and in that pause the town seemed to disappear, the wooden storefronts, the curious stares, even the two children whispering excitedly nearby. Because all he could see was the realization settling into her expression as she looked from him to the name stitched inside his coat, and then back again, understanding dawning with a quiet ache that mirrored his own, for Clara Whitmore had answered an advertisement meant for another man, while Elijah had paid his savings to meet a woman who, by some cruel twist of fate, had stepped off the wrong stagecoach at the wrong town. Yet neither of them moved away, because something unspoken held them there, something deeper than the mistake that had brought them together, and as the wind stirred dust between their boots, Clara spoke first, her voice steady despite the hurt beneath it, explaining how she had crossed states with nothing but hope and a promise of belonging, how she had believed the letters were meant for her alone, while Elijah listened with a tightening chest, knowing too well the loneliness that drove a person to put faith in ink and paper. And when it was his turn to speak, he admitted his error without excuses, admitting the life he lived was hard and quiet and lonely, admitting that he had wanted companionship more than he cared to confess, and as their words faded into the space between them, they stood face to face, not close enough to touch, yet close enough to feel the weight of shared disappointment, and in that moment Clara realized she could leave, could turn back and disappear into the endless road behind her, but she also saw something honest in Elijah's eyes, something that had been missing from the world she'd known, while Elijah saw in her not a mistake but a strength shaped by survival, and though neither spoke of love, something fragile and new took root in the silence, because sometimes destiny does not arrive as promised, sometimes it comes mislabeled and unexpected, and as the children laughed nearby and the town slowly returned to life around them, Elijah offered Clara a choice rather than a demand, a place to rest, time to decide, freedom to walk away if she wished, and she considered his words carefully, feeling the dust beneath her boots and the sun on her face, realizing that home was not always found where one intended to go but where one was finally seen, and so she nodded, not in surrender, but in possibility. And in that small motion, the distance between them did not vanish, yet it softened, becoming not a divide but a beginning, a quiet understanding that mistakes could lead to second chances. And as they turned together toward the town, still strangers yet no longer alone, the stagecoach rolled away behind them, carrying with it the lives they had planned, leaving them to write a new story neither had ordered, but both were finally willing to face.